Start with Gary's axe. I gotta think of a name for this thing. It's the axe I got from Gary. But I've got to think of a name for this thing. So I'll start with this axe here, this single bit. Tough wood. Yep. This axe ain't gonna work too good. Oak is tough stuff. So now we're going to the fiskars. Excalibur. Whole different ball game splitting some of this oak. See how tough this wood is. Completely different. This is green red oak. How stringy that is. Wow. As you can see here, this green red oak is some tough, stringy stuff. It's much different than when it's seasoned for a while. When it's seasoned for a while, it splits, it breaks apart much easier. But when it's green like this, it's similar somewhat to white oak, to where the fibers hold it together. It's still not as bad as white oak, but it's some tough stuff. And that's why I wasn't really able to use the single bit from Gary on this particular wood here. I mean, I could have, but it would have been much harder. And that's why, you know, traditionally they use mauls for things like this. Like, you see guys using axes, and I love using an axe over a split maul myself. But if it come to oak, and I had to use, you know, if I didn't have a splitting axe like that Fiskars there, and I had to pick between a axe and a maul, I'd pick a maul. I like the flick technique, but for oak and stuff, I found it's better to go straight through with it. You need all the force traveling through to the ground that you can muster when it comes to splitting this oak. In my opinion, I've found that the flick just has a hard time with this stuff. Good technique, but it had its place. And with oak, in my opinion, at least when it's green like this or white oak, it just don't have much of a place there, other than to save your axe like right there. As I was saying before, though, yeah, if I had to pick between like a traditional axe and a maul for this type of wood here, it would definitely be a maul. There's certain types of wood you can easily get away with split with axes. You can even get away with chopping axes on certain types of wood. It all comes down to that. What type of wood you've got, and you can split it with a like this oak. You can split it with a chopping double bit if you want to, but you're going to have a bad day doing it. Just because you can do it doesn't mean it's smart to. And so I like to use what's most efficient for the job that I have. It's hard enough as it is without using the tool that makes the job much harder.
Okay. Yeah, as I said, I like to flick a lot. I do. I use it, especially with a wooden handled axe. But when you've got some of this oak, I think it's better to just go straight through. And as far as like damaging your axe head, I don't worry about that too much in dirt at all. For me personally, a splitting axe doesn't need to be like a chainsaw tooth. You don't want that. You don't have to have that fine of a razor edge on a splitting axe. And if you're worried about that, it'd be very hard to maintain, especially if you split on the ground. But I've found that don't really hurt them too much at all. So I've split it in like this and hit the dirt for years, and with that same axe right there too. And so to me, I don't worry about as far as the flick goes. I like it for saving my axe handle and for flicking the sides off of certain types of wood. But with this oak, I like to go straight through because it's just tough. It's just really tough. I like to go straight through, and I don't worry too much unless I'm splitting on rocks or something like that about chipping my axe edge. That's me personally. It's a little bit warm. Where I'm at here, there's a lot of thorns, and I'm on a hillside too, so you gotta watch. I got tangled up in those a little bit ago. They'll try to pull you down. Beautiful day today though, very nice day. I'll tell you one thing though, when you're doing this in the heat, when it does get pretty warm, like here lately, it's been getting up in the 80s. Today, I think it's in the 70s. You do firewood in the heat, it's a whole different ball game. I mean, it's so much harder on your body. It really is. But it's definitely much easier when it's cool. But at the same time, it's something that's good to do in the summertime too. That way you have it in the winter, of course. So
You're going to have different opinions as well from different guys. I'm just speaking to what I've found in my own experience. There's people all over the world that split wood, but there's different types of wood all over the world as well. And that's what I was saying. You see people get away with splitting with many different types of axes when it comes to certain types of wood. But I don't believe anybody would want to do that with oak and hickory and other types of similar wood that we have down this way. So I just don't think anybody would. I think if they got into it with certain axes, they would see real quick that those axes don't work very well. And that's why I use that fisker so much. Mainly what I do is oak. It's very good firewood. And the land that was logged out here, that's mainly what the man has. Now, my first couple years in firewood, I did many different types of wood because I was getting it from tree services and other places. Found it on ads on Craigslist, whatever I had to do to get it. But I also went ahead of time and started stocking my wood up. That way I had some stocked up already. And so this right here, all this wood that I'm doing here lately is for next year. So I'm actually ahead of right now where I was last winter. So I've got some stacked here at home. I've got some there in the woods in more than one location than this that's split. I've got some in piles as well in other places there in those woods. Not stacked, it's just piled up. I just wanted to stack that too to just see about how much that tree would make there where I bucked it up, because it shows you how much wood it actually takes to make, a full cord of wood or a face cord of wood. It takes a lot. It does. The good thing about it is there's so many woods around and so many down trees and stuff like this one here. And I get a lot of people too that will comment every now and then, and they'll say, you should have saved that tree and you're killing the trees and all this. This tree was down. Many of the trees that I get are down already, or I fell the dead ones.
Stringy wood there. Stringy, tough wood. Yes, it is. All right. I've got probably, let's see, around halfway. I'm around halfway through them. stay hydrated during this stuff, buddy. You wait until it's too late and then try to hydrate, then it's a lot worse. This is the kind of thing that you've got to, in order to stay in real good shape for this, for me anyways, in order to stay in real good shape for this to where you can keep this kind of pace, it's something you got to kind of stay consistent with. For me anyways, it is. And I believe it is for lots of men too, to keep a certain pace. Yeah, it's natural for our bodies to adjust to things that are harder, and then when things get easier, it's natural for our bodies to adjust to the easier things too, and get to where they're not as accustomed to doing the harder paces. An example, I used to work at a factory to where they paid you by your production on what we did there. It was called crating. Very dangerous job, very hard physical job. There's a place called Leggett and Platt in Winchester, Kentucky, and I remember there was you work with one other guy. It's you and another guy, and you move as quick as you can, really. Or you can get to your own pace, and you get comfortable at keeping that pace and knowing about what you're going to make at that pace, and you could make pretty good money there. Actually, pretty good compared to around here, anyways. Up $30 and up, you can make there $30 an hour and up, and that's something you don't have to wait 10 years before you make that kind of money. It's if you're wanting to work that hard and you can do it, then you can do it. But I remember one group of guys, I think they had shut crating down for a while or something. Whenever it slowed down every now and then, they would do that. And I believe they maybe put those guys on other jobs for a while, and then they ended up bringing back to crating. And when they came back to crating, they pushed themselves really hard and tried to get back to that pace that they normally kept, and they just couldn't do it. Not only could they not do it, to the best of my knowledge, from what I remember, somebody else was telling me about it, not only could they not do it, they really, I think they may have got sick and everything, trying to push themselves that hard. Your body just naturally, you can push as much as you want. And I believe when you push too, it does, when you push to a certain extent anyways, it does make your body grow accustomed to that when you can keep doing it. But you can push yourself too far too, of course. You can. But pushing your body, there's nothing wrong with doing that. If your heart's healthy and all that stuff, to a certain extent, you can overdo it without a doubt. I have, especially being out in the heat pushing. When you're out in the heat pushing like that, yeah, I think I've come close to having heat strokes before. When you're out in the heat pushing like that, it's different. But I'm sure many people have been there to where you're out doing a job, very physical job, and you get shaky and weak and feel like you're going to pass out. Maybe you have passed out. Maybe you've thrown up. I have. Some jobs it just, especially, I got really dehydrated. I've got dehydrated once years ago working out in tobacco in the fields, and I got so dehydrated that day I was out in the sun all day. It was a pretty fast-paced job what I was doing, and got so dehydrated, and I'd stayed up just about all night the night before. I was a teenager and went with my dad to do this job. And I remember getting so dehydrated that my knees literally, like right around the back of my knees there where the joint is, cramped up, and I fell down, and I couldn't stand up. I couldn't. I tried, and every time I did, they would cramp up, and then it would be bad pain. I'd lay on my back and try to straighten them out. I literally had to crawl up a hill into this barn, and I laid there and in the shade just for a while. I just laid there. I mean, that's how bad I got. And sick to my stomach. I mean, I couldn't, my body was cramped up. I just dehydrated, and pushing that kind of pace out in that heat, it's different. So yeah, you can definitely push too far. You got to be careful of that. But at the same time, you've got to push yourself sometimes to a certain extent to advance, in my opinion. I know I do anyways. Even when I haven't done this for a while on a big level and I start doing it again, I feel the difference.
It's hard to believe our channel's almost at 100,000 subscribers now. That's pretty neat. I'm pretty surprised with that. Very thankful for it too. Thankful for everybody that takes their time to comment and to watch and everything. Our time is precious, so for people to take their time to watch and comment, I appreciate that. And as I said before, if it may just be that people enjoy to see wood split, and maybe they're not able to do it anymore. They're not able to get out in the woods, so they like to watch videos of, of me or other people going out and doing this type of stuff. And if it brings them joy, I see nothing wrong with that at all. And so I'm very thankful for everybody who comments and and especially in the positive comments. I have got many negative comments as well. Not really a whole lot that keep going with it. Here recently, I had a certain person that was, they were just everything they said was negative, and I would just try to respond in a positive way. Like I've heard men say, not to respond to negativity at all. And everybody has opinions, but I don't agree with that myself. I just think when you do respond, you need to respond in positive ways. Jesus himself responded to negativity many times. Many times. Jesus did. But he always responded in a positive way or in a truthful way. Everything he said back to them was good. And an example of why I believe it's good to do that is the other day, it was around the same, it may have been the same day. One guy, he just kept messaging the videos, and he would just, it wasn't just, I don't at all mind if somebody tells me like that I could do things better. That's fine. But this guy, just everything he was saying was just he was trying to belittle me and talking down, and everything he said, and he commented, it seemed like 7 or 8 different times in that day. And I would try to respond positive back to him, and it just kept going that way with him. So finally, I just blocked that guy. But now there was a different guy that same day who started out kind of somewhat, I don't know really that I guess it was somewhat negative the way that man started out. But, and after I responded back with positivity, he responded back with positivity. And then after that, I noticed he commented on probably 4 more of my videos, and all the comments were positive, You can be a light to somebody if you're living right, and you're doing right. That's what Jesus said to do. He said, "Let your light so shine before men." If everybody's recompensing evil for evil, then there's going to be a lot of people that don't get help. You can help somebody with a good answer. The Bible says a soft answer turneth away wrath. You don't have to just ignore people when they talk bad to you. Then you're kind of part of the problem yourself. Now, if it's just constantly there, you can see that these people are unreasonable. There are people out there just unreasonable. No matter how you talk to them, there are people. The Bible mentions people that are unreasonable, and there are. But there's also people out there too that maybe just said the wrong thing at the wrong time, as I have and as many others have. And you can say something in a way back to them in a positive way that will make them want to be positive themselves. And that's what happened with that man the other day. And I'm not trying to take credit for that at all. I just tried to say something positive back to the man. And I noticed after that he was very friendly. He responded back positive on that one. He changed his tone completely. He changed the way he was saying things, and just responded with positivity. So you don't always have to just ignore somebody when they're being negative to you. Everybody has their own opinions, but what I've said before, and I believe this, opinions don't shake the truth one bit. And I believe the truth is Jesus Christ, and that's what I go by. When I've read it in the Word of God and I know it to be true, men ain't going to shake that one little bit for me, and they shouldn't for you either. And some people don't know the truth. The Bible says, "To him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it's sin." Some people don't know. Some people aren't aware. But when you know, it's expected of you. What you know is expected of you. I know to treat men right, regardless of whether they treat me right or not. And when I don't, I'm failing every single time. But the other day, that was kind of on my mind there. I was thinking about that, how that one man, he was just negative, and nothing, no matter what positive I said to him, he was just negative the whole time. And so I blocked the man. Now, the other man, he was negative at the beginning, and after I responded in positivity, the man was positive after that, and even went on to go through some of my older videos, if I'm not mistaken, and comment positive things on it. So that's what I want to be. I'd like to live in a way that I can be a light to other people. And it takes Jesus, to be that, to be able to shine a light. He is the light. You've got to have him on the inside. So I'd like to live in a way that I could shine a light to other people. And what I would say too is go with what you know to be true. Don't let any man shake you from that. Some men themselves don't know what they're saying sometimes when they say things. Some people don't understand. And that's what it comes down to. Sometimes they don't understand, But when you understand, it's expected of you. But I'm enjoying YouTube. I am. It's very time consuming, without a doubt. The editing part is what takes a lot of time, and I'm sure anybody else knows that does it. It takes hours sometimes to edit these videos. It really does, especially when I'm doing like I am now, kind of manually adding this audio in. It takes even longer. I could have went ahead and uploaded this video, but it's just me splitting, and I could add music in there, but I felt like adding a little bit of audio in. And as you see here, this was a pretty decent sized red oak. And that shows, how, as I said, how much wood it actually takes to make a face cord and a cord of wood. It takes a whole lot. But there's 2 red oaks down there, maybe 3. Maybe that one that broke off, the top that broke off, I think that may have been red oak as well. So there's quite a bit of wood right here in this. And what I'm planning to do, when I go out there now and then, sometimes I'll bring some home with me, and sometimes I'll just split it and leave it there. Because I got deliveries down that way too, so as I'm down that way, I can just pick the wood up and deliver it while I'm out that way. What I've got, closer to where I'm at and stuff, I can just, it's just not too far from me, this place right here, the woods that I'm in there, it's not too far from me. It's 1 county over, not too far of a drive. My mom actually lives about 5 minutes down the road from there too, so sometimes I have stopped there and visited her while I was out there. I'd like to take my little nephew with me again. He loves going, Jasper. Carter's really liking it. What he was doing in this video, he was down the hill there, which is where we normally get the wood from in the videos, that big wood pile that you've seen, which I've got a lot of wood out of. He's down there splitting right now in this video, if I'm not mistaken. He did a couple down the middle videos. He was wanting to do them really bad. And I honestly, I didn't think he was going to do the piece of wood that he had, but he did it. He is improving. I've seen him before, though, as well. His axe kind of flick out to the side, and I've just, on the side of the wood, when you hit it and it kind of grazes and goes flying off sideways. And I've told him to be really careful with that. I said, if you hit yourself, Carter, we're going to have to go to the hospital probably. You're going to be hurting bad. So just take your time and be careful. Don't get overconfident. He's doing good so far.
Come on, Thorns. Oh, I'm tired. Yeah, the green red oak's pretty tough. Oop. See what we got here. Well, we've got over a face cord, I'd say.
This church is coming at her. I'm going to tell you, it's going to have some fall. Yeah, man, it's going to be shining. I read on down through, he said, I have somewhat against you. To that same church, I have somewhat against you. Because you lost your first love. Amen, that's because they didn't have no fire. You let the fire get out of your life, you let love slip away. When the love for God slips away, then the carnal man's are reigning. Now when that carnal man's are reigning in Dallas, they ain't no fire. Amen, he's coming out of a holy church. One without a spot or a blemish or a wrinkle or any such thing. Amen, there won't be nobody slip in, Kelly. There won't be nobody get by. Amen, you can slip and hide in this life, but you can't hide from God. No, there won't be nobody hiding. Amen, they got to look him right straight in the eye, and when they look in them eyes down, amen, thank God you read about this man. The Bible said he fell at his feet. How many he was afraid? How many when he turned and seen this man, he was afraid. Amen, if men was afraid of God today, amen, they wouldn't live ungodly. They'd walk up holy. They'd be homeless men and homeless women, and they would have some power. I'm going to thank God. I tell you, if I strike a match and I strike it and it ain't never going to fire, I'm going to throw it down and get me another. I'm going to find me one out of a while and I can get some fire out of them. If I'm needing a fire, amen, and that match don't burn, it ain't no count. I'm going to thank God. If you ain't got no fire today, you ain't no count. I'm going to thank God. It takes God today. It takes a fire burning in a man. Amen, to be part of this church. This church is coming out of amen, and some of them now, them churches, the churches of God, it will have fall.
Yes, it will, brother.
It will, brother. I want to do away with it.
Yeah.
Give them some kind of form. Give them something among them besides the fire. Hell, let me untie. I don't want nothing but the fire. Hell, let me untie. I told Darrell today, I said, these churches around here, up and down this road, they're just one people. I said, let me tell you something about them people. They ain't in this church. No, they're not in this church. They won't have sound doctrine. They turn their ears from the truth. And they believe in lies. They believe in their formalities they go through. Because when they get to heaven, I'm telling you, formalities will take you to hell. Come on, thank God our people have set themselves in the form. And hallelujah, where the power of God ain't tied no more. Hallelujah, I thought today while I prayed, Dallas, amen, I began to pray and I said, Lord, amen, looks like our church world in a whole throughout our country is trying to take the power out of it. I'm going to thank God and want us to accept it. Hallelujah, I ain't going to accept nothing. It ain't got no fire in it. It ain't no count for me. It ain't no count for you. It won't cause your children to pray. It won't cause them to believe the truth. I'm going to thank God. I'm going to thank God cause my children to believe the truth is if they get where the fire is at.
I don't know. There we go. So, it ain't the prettiest stack, but it's gonna stay out there until next winter at least.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I can plan to check it with a moisture meter and show where it's at. A pretty good pickup load right there, so $100 worth for me, plus delivery. All right, that'll be it for this one. Got those split, got that cleared up some. It was from, so the trunk from there to there, so I don't know how many feet that is.
By like 200 maybe?
No,
100?
I don't know, 40 feet maybe.
40?
From there to there,
That
40,
big,
50
bigger?
feet. I would say 40 to 50 feet. And 40 to 50 foot trunk of wood there, it made that much. So that gives you an idea how much it takes. And some of those are pretty big, and I just stacked them there for now because I can always split them a little more later if I have to. And some of them too are just kind of like that one there, right here, that one. See how it's already split? I just threw it on there like that. It's not, I didn't tear it apart. I didn't fight with it. Those fibers are a lot tougher when it's green. But there it is, we got that done. And now we're gonna head on out here soon. Be done for the day. But until next time, we appreciate you watching. Anybody that does this, be safe, and God bless.
We're going for heading down.
You heading down? All right.